So today we have a 2004 BMW 325xi, and it has a shudder, at least that's how I'd describe it, a driveline shudder in first and second gear on heavy acceleration. So before we lift this up and have a look at it, I'm going to take it for a road test and see if I can record this shudder so that you guys get to see what it feels like. It's going to be pretty tough, but we'll see what happens. So this is a 5-speed manual. So it's going to be tough for me to record this and drive at the same time, but we'll see what happens. And right now I'm on a gravel road, first gear. I'm going to try and accelerate heavy. I don't know if you're able to hear that thumping noise. I'll try it again. First gear, under load. Definitely a driveline U-joint hanger bearing problem. So we're gonna bring it back to the shop now and have a look at it. Try one more time in second gear. It's under heavy load, heavy acceleration. Going down a hill now. Try it up this hill. Rough, so it's hard to tell what's higher frequency now because we're going at faster speed. Okay, we're going to turn around. So we're underneath this vehicle looking at the drivetrain, and it's covered by a heat shield and the exhaust that runs down the valley. Now I can see this rear U-joint. Try and get this magnet to stick on here. That's a plastic gas tank, so that's not working. I can't see any play or movement in the U-joints. Let's turn the flashlight on here. Now there is another U-joint up in there. And there's a little bit of play in it. But that means there's a hanger bearing up in there as well. And that is very suspicious. I wonder if I can get this heat shield down a little bit, even if I just bend it out of the way. Maybe I'm going to try and bend this heat shield out of the way a bit. So I pried this heat shield down out of the way slightly, and you can see that hanger bearing there, and you can see the U-joint behind it, and you can see that there's play in that U-joint. But I don't think that's what's causing the shudder, although it might be aggravating it. I believe that the problem is caused, let me grab a pry bar here, by this hanger bearing. If I get in here, I can pry this hanger bearing up. Like the rubber in the hanger bearing is broken. You can easily push it up. There you go. You can see that movement. So I'm not sure how that hanger bearing is serviced. It looks like that shaft comes apart. There's a slip spline behind it. But I also found another problem. Have a look. So here's the other problem I found. There's a transmission mount here. And if I pry up on this transmission mount, I'm going to set this camera up better. So here's the other problem I found. This mount on the left rear corner, right rear corner of the transmission is broken loose as well inside the rubber. You can see I'm moving the transmission up and down. So that would change the driveline angles and aggravate it. So this mount right here needs to be replaced, as does the hanger bearing in the center U-joint. But to do that, we got to drop the entire exhaust system, and that's going to be fun because these front bolts are pretty rusty. Well, we'll see what's available for parts. So here's what I've found so far. I'm looking for a drive shaft center support bearing, U-joints, and so on. Here's a center support bearing, but it fits a remanufactured or an aftermarket drive shaft only works with Dorman drive shafts. Here's the bearing, but I need the rubber part. The mount actually has failed. Here's the front section of the U-joint. but this is for automatic transmission only. Here is, oh, that's the front drive shaft from the transfer case to the front diff. So here is the rear as an assembly, and it retails for $1,560. So that would obviously fix the U-joint problem. It doesn't have that type of coupler. I don't know why they have that rear drive shaft at transfer case. Rear drive shaft at transfer case. It doesn't have that unless that's on the front. Oh, that's on a wagon. And here is a U-joint, but it only works with the Dorman drive shaft because these are staked in U-joints. I know there are some rebuild kits for those U-joints, but nevertheless we still need this center support bearing. So I'm going to check the availability of this complete drive shaft assembly here, see if Dorman actually has a location, even though they have a part number. Sometimes they get your hopes up to give you the part number, but when you actually check to see if it's available, it's not available. And so it is not available. No warehouses in Canada anyway, so I'll have to make a call tomorrow and see if there's any stock anywhere else in the world. Maybe in the United States there might be some stock. And also make sure that this fits a standard application as opposed to, because it doesn't specify automatic versus standard. So I'll have a look at it. Here's the OE part number. Maybe I'll copy this OE part number down and try Auto Camping and see if they have it in Winnipeg. So here is the support bearing from Auto Camping out of Winnipeg, reasonably priced, but it says click here for more important information about this part. That's useful. Well, there's no listing for the U-joint, so we still need a U-joint. And I don't want to in stock availability. Well, that was not much help. So we're going to go back and see what else we can find. So they have a listing for the support bearing, but no universal joints. CV boot kits, differential seal, prop shaft bushing, prop shaft support bearing, but no U-joint listed, because these are staked in U-joints. Now they might be replaceable. So there's quite a few listings for the complete drive shaft from Dorman on eBay, but they're all in the United States so far, from the United States, United States, United States, United States, which is a problem now due to COVID. We can't drive across the border to pick this stuff up. So they range anywhere from about $550, $575 US to $750 US, plus shipping to the Great White North, which could be expensive. So here's the actual transmission mount. I can't find a listing for it in the aftermarket, but there it is there, item number 6. Sometimes I go to eBay to get the part number so that I can search for it and cross-reference it. I wonder if they have a part number in here. Brand, manufacturer part number 2231-677-3125. So we'll copy that and do a cross check and see if we can find that mount locally. So I did a keyword search for that part number on Auto Camping, and that part doesn't exist. I did cross it at APC and come up with this URO parts, but no stock anywhere. This is the problem with working on European import vehicles in Northern Ontario. There's just no market for the parts here, and it's hard to get parts. Obviously I can buy something out of the States, but have to order that in just the same. It appears that this mount is available. Look, 30 bucks US. So I'm going to talk to the customer and maybe he can go ahead and order the part. That looks correct. BMW XI 1-13 automatic transmission mount. It looks like the correct piece. This is a used part. There's another one. Oh well, we'll keep searching. So I had a closer look at this mount because I'm wondering what it's going to take to replace this. And then I noticed something here. Look at this housing here. It's all oxidized, corroded, rotted through. Wow. So I'm going to need this cast aluminum piece too. Wait a minute, that's part of the transmission. I thought that was part of this mount, but that's part of the transmission case. Oh joy. This just gets better and better every day.